Hey, Browns fans, Bears fans, and Burnouts. This is your main man, J-Rex, here with my main man, B-Weird. What's going on, brother? How you doing this afternoon again?
I'm doing good, man. It feels like it's been absolutely forever since we've actually recorded a show. But
I think it's been legitimately 3 weeks since we've recorded a
yeah,
show, honestly.
it feels like a lot longer.
Yeah, well, I went on vacation. I went out to San Fran and Sonoma into wine country, which was beautiful and was like a trip of a lifetime. And I was out of town
to
for
the
a while.
hospital.
You went to the hospital, which is great. It's fantastic.
It was beautiful inside there too. While I got,
I'm sure it was, with the sterile smell of chemicals and someone pissing and bedpans.
There was at least some good
So
eye candy. I can't complain about that.
yeah. So anyways, so it's been a minute. So we're back.
It's gonna be an
We're back in black.
So this is gonna be an exciting show.
Yeah, so we have my cousin JW on the show. Welcome, JW. How you doing, man?
What's happening, party people? How are we doing today?
We're good. We're good. It's we've never had you on the show before, JW.
I know, it's funny because I'm like the original originator of the show. So it's like seeing my baby now grown up, 27 days old, and here I am. It's like what is this creature that has now grown into an elite podcast that's targeted at the 18 over market, as you told me. So on my show I can't cuss as much, but here it's good. I can swear.
You can say whatever the fuck you want.
Shit, whatever I want. It's great.
Yeah,
right.
Don't ever fuck that shit.
Thank you for having me. It's nice. It's nice to have a different show where people don't yell at me all the time and tell me how stupid I am.
We are super happy and excited to have you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. We try, as we said before we came on, we try and be positive with the show and keep things upbeat and spread love and peace to everybody. And
someone has to.
Right. Well, I mean, that's kind of the stoner mentality, is kind of love and peace. And that's kind of what we want to embody. So.
Yeah. I won't lie. That's a little bit where it came from.
So. Right. Absolutely it is. Okay. Well, let's dive right into some fucking topics, shall we? Talking about, like, trying to be positive. So, fucking douchebag Mike Tenenbaum, formerly GM of the Dolphins and the Jets, thinks Baker Mayfield is short and slow, and if the Browns sign him to an extension right now, they would be, quote unquote, binding themselves to mediocrity.
You said he
is at best.
He was the former GM of what two teams?
The Jets and the Dolphins.
Why does his opinion matter?
He's an analyst for ESPN, and people take him seriously, and people, he works for the wide world leader in sports. I mean, what do you think, J-Dub? Are we overreacting, thinking he's an asshole and the schmuck?
I mean, he did his job by getting you to talk about him, right?
Right. We did. He get clicks.
All things being equal, Baker Mayfield's, I'm looking at his prospect profile now. Again, as a 26-year-old, who cares? But at the age of 21, he was 6'1" and ran a 4.840, which is not elite speed, but it's definitely reasonable high, mid-high end quarterback speed. And the reality is that 40-yard dash doesn't matter. As we've seen throughout his portfolio of his career, he has escapability and creativity.
He's elusive. He's definitely elusive.
In the vein of I'd say he's a slower version, taller version of Russell Wilson, if you want to get into that.
That's what I would agree.
He's creative. Again, it's hard enough to find a quarterback who won't shit his pants while playing, to have someone who can win you football games and be consistent. I'm pretty sure he's consistently healthy as well. Not to jinx him.
He is.
Yeah. But
do you know that he's been the longest starter they've had? He started I think something like 25 or 30 consecutive games. They haven't had a quarterback start that many games since Bernie Kosar, apparently.
Yeah, that's
insane.
Yeah, you got Kosar and Testaverde together.
Yeah,
that's at the list.
Yeah, they hadn't won a playoff since 1994 or some shit like that.
As a Washington football fan, I appreciate a team that has the same quarterback every year. That's just still out there. So he's not great. It's cool he's there. And the fact is, if they give him an extension or a longer contract, the money they're going to spend now is less than what they would be spending to grasp later or have a failed draft pick quarterback anyway.
Let me say this as well. The salary cap is on the verge of going up, guys. If you sign Baker to a max, a quarterback deal right now, when the cap goes up, his quarterback contract is going to be very undervalued. when the cap goes up from the new TV deal. Am I crazy to say that, guys?
No.
Am I nuts?
I actually like the idea of him taking less money than Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or one of these other guys that's going to get an extension come soon. Because, the salary cap is going to go up, and that leaves us more room to hopefully re-sign more of our players, and that's how you build a dynasty. You keep the team that you have.
And you need and here's the other thing. You need to resign Denzel Ward and you need to resign Nick Chubb.
Right.
Okay? You still have your franchise tag. They have not even used that yet. Like, think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, so they have so many options right now. Mike Tenenbaum's a schmuck. He went and got rid of Chad Pennington for Brett Favre, and Pennington took the Dolphins to the Super Bowl that year. He's an idiot. He's literally a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I mean,
there's nothing. Not to be negative, sorry.
You're harsh.
I call a spade here.
You're harshing my buzz.
Right? It's true. It's true. But no, he is a bit of a putz. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, that's all these talking heads are.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Ryan Clark is like that.
No, but you can tell that, people that played more recently and they have a better idea of both sides of the game compared to one of these former GMs who was a bust on both teams that he attempted to build. I don't know. There's a big difference between a former player speaking and one of these other guys.
It's true.
They just seem to know both sides of the ball, or not in the ball, but like the organization.
Every the aspects of the game. They just understand the game. Yeah.
The game and the organization and the way it works. Yeah.
He's just forget it. I'm not going to waste any more breath on him.
Proud of you for that.
J-Dub, right? All right, J-Dub. So me and B Weird here are hyped on the Browns. So as a Washington football team fan, we feel like you have a little bit more objectivity than us.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about them as Super Bowl contenders? We want your take on that.
I mean, Super Bowl, that's a very aggressive desire.
But
right?
but that's what the ESPN and everyone's saying. They're saying they're legitimate contenders.
I mean, isn't everyone a contender except for like maybe it's hard to say that. I think what's helpful is that they're a competitive team with an elite quarterback. You can't just pretend to have that. They have and so one of the things that's nice about being in that spot is you can be competitive for your division. You can be competitive in the playoffs. And if you win a couple of games, something breaks your way. Sure, you can be in the Super Bowl. I don't think if you wanted me to bet money on them as Super Bowl contenders, I probably would say no, but they're not. I don't think it's crazy to consider that they could make it to the Super Bowl or win it. But
I mean, I would dare argue they're the second best team in the AFC, ahead of Buffalo and the Ravens with additions on defense. So we'll have to see how that stuff pans out. But I would make that argument to you.
I think given some injury, if there are injuries out there that aren't on their team and some things break their way, sure, seems perfectly possible. I wouldn't bet on it, but a lot of people.
I wouldn't bet on anything.
A lot of people
sports.
are talking. I mean, I never win on betting, other than Madness pools, but
or fantasy football.
Okay, yes, I'm good at fantasy football too. But
I think all three of us are. Yeah.
So yeah, I think in like you hear the Washington football, the Washington football team again. People, they're kind of a popular pick for being competitive and having elite defense, having a gunslinger at quarterback. Now, I don't know. Look. Unless you're in the handful of really, really bad teams going into the year, everyone's going to think that they're contenders going into the new season. That's why
it really is injury dependent, though. I think that's the biggest thing that everyone doesn't realize.
Yeah.
I think that's the elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about on these shows.
I'll say this:
if people get hurt, you're toast.
I got two things to say. One, the Washington football team playing in the NFC East and having Chase Young, they automatically have a chance to take the playoff spot from the NFC East. Automatically. Just because they have Chase Young.
That is helpful.
Yeah.
100%. I agree. I agree.
That and the Browns definitely made the top 4 or 5 in the AFC a complete logjam until we see differently, I think.
I would agree. I think you have Kansas City, and then you have the Ravens, the Bills, and the Browns.
Yeah.
And then possibly Tennessee, depending on whether they come out, and maybe New England if they can get their shit together. And then I think that's pretty much, I said maybe New
No,
England.
no.
Them in Tennessee, I'd put them in like a maybe category. But you definitely have the Bills, the Browns, and the Ravens in that top
What about
echelon.
And the
Yeah, I
Chiefs?
think that sounds reasonable.
The Chiefs are like the number one team in the AFC. I'm saying
Okay.
behind the Chiefs.
Yeah.
That's what you have. Those three teams, kind of like jockeying for position.
Yeah.
I just want to note, again, Pittsburgh having like what felt like they fell off a cliff last year.
They sure as hell did.
Are we sleeping after they played Washington and got pummeled?
They have no offensive line, J-Dub. Who's blocking for him?
I don't know. I'm just saying, are you sleeping on Pittsburgh?
No, because Pittsburgh. I watched Pittsburgh play 2 games back to back at the end of that season. They're toast. They don't have anything left in the tank. He's ancient. They don't have. I don't care if they got Najee Harris. Who's going to open holes? They have no line. I don't care if you drafted an offensive lineman in the second round.
Yes,
it doesn't fucking matter. You got to win in the trenches.
There you go. That's what I want.
I mean, that's just me. I don't know. Am I crazy? What do you guys think?
I just want to get you fired up. It's good.
I hate the Steelers. God damn it!
There's too much agreeing on the show. It was just everyone's like, it's a good pick. Sorry, J-Rex, I appreciate that. And it's like, yeah, I totally get that. That's good. No, I think look again, the full circle. Cleveland is definitely a reasonable contender again, at least for the wild card. And but yeah, if things break their way, injuries happen. Let's say something bad happens to Kansas City. Josh Allen rolls an ankle. Cleveland could be the number 1 team in the AFC.
Look, hey, listen, I love Patrick Mahomes. I think he's a fantastic quarterback. I don't like him because I'm a Browns fan, but I think as purely from a quarterback standpoint, if he tears his ACL and he's done for the season, the Browns could make a roll. I mean, you don't know.
Sure. You can't say just a high ankle sprain. That's more
high ankle sprain. I wish Patrick Mahomes nothing but health and the best. I wish no injury on any person. I want to be very clear about that. All right. Well, let's talk about a little bit of something not so great. So, former Browns first-round pick and current Atlanta Falcons linebacker Barkevious Mingo was charged with indecency with a child and sexual contact, which basically means he was a sex offender with a little kid.
Well, as a father, let me be the first to say, fuck him. Send his ass to jail and let him get raped every day until he's freed with a second asshole. Yeah. As a father, that's my general feeling towards most people like that.
J-Dub, as a father, you probably feel the same way.
I mean, as a normal person, you don't have to be a father. Like, it's fucking great.
Right? I'm not a father. I don't feel that way. I mean, I don't feel differently.
So he was like, it sounds like based on the article I'm skimming right now while you guys were talking, he like groomed like young teenage boys at Six Flags to come have dinner with him, and then he had he had intercourse with young boys basically in their hotel room. Super gross, super terrible. No, I lock him up, throw away the key. He should never be out of prison ever again.
No.
Bad person. Not. I mean, again, it's super gross and terrible, and he's obviously got lots of problems in his head, and it's unfortunate that it was executed physically on someone. But now he is given up his right to be in society with the rest of the people.
All right,
super gross.
Wash that bad taste out of my mouth. It's gonna have something else. Tom Brady golfed with Phil Mickelson versus Brooks Koepka and Aaron Rodgers, and they're talking about it all over the media. Why the fuck do we care?
We don't. It's because we put a moratorium on Aaron Rodgers talk, and they had to give us a way to talk about him.
Yeah. They knew that we didn't want to talk about Aaron Rodgers, so they made us talk about him in another way. And they hype this shit up, man. Why?
It's Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers with Phil Mickelson.
All right, next. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Next.
You want to talk about
Indians
this? Let's go.
Yeah, great. The Indians lost 9 straight games over the last few weeks, and the Cubs are struggling as well. Are you ready to sell in either one, guys?
Yeah, I'm done with both of them.
Yeah,
J-Dub, what do you think about them?
I mean, it's fine. Neither team's going to win anything. So, yeah, just sell.
Sell? Really? You think they should fire sell both of them? Get rid of Rizzo, do everything, just take apart the teams?
I don't think that either team is winning with what they have now. I think that for the Cubs, at least, you keep like Javi, you keep maybe one or two other pieces. For the Indians, you keep like Franny and.
Oh yeah, Franny's a superstar, dude. Franny's a fucking animal,
you
man.
get rid of the Dolans, and you hope to pay your next team more than $40 million.
I hope that the Haslams, basically they're talking about instituting a salary cap and a salary minimum in baseball to help out all. So like they're trying to like force the union's hand. So basically like raise the salary of the lower paid people while at the same time like capping like the highest paid players. Kind of what football did to like force the union's hand. So the Dolans could be screwed here if they put a minimum salary floor on there, and they might have to sell the team because of that as well. So there's a possibility.
I could not wish for anything more than the Dolans selling the team.
Right, me too. Nats, how are the Nats doing, by the way? I don't follow or anything.
No, the Nats are mediocre. I mean, they're 4 games under 500. They are getting lit up. They're really injured, so it's not ideal. Again, like I think their window is closed. Just
yeah,
you
got your World Series.
I think that they're actually in the same boat. I think that the Indians and the Cubs are in right now.
Yeah, I mean
they peaked all at the same time.
The only thing that again, Cleveland's not that far out of it, but Washington is 6 games out of winning the division, so that could happen. You can go on a run. The problem is the Nats are just so injured across. I mean,
are the Phillies in first place?
The Mets are in first place.
Mets are in first place, but yeah, but Francisco Lindor's batting like 222. They said it's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, again, like if like
$30 million, my ass.
The thing is, the Nats could go on a run and still win the division. It's just the way it is. But
they are the Mets.
They're super injured. Strasburg's always hurt. Scherzer's 39 years old or whatever he is. It's just hard, and they have no offense. So there's that. But it's just baseball. I mean, baseball runs like all year round. Yep. I can't get that excited about it. Like,
I'm not that crazy about baseball.
That's exactly how we feel on this show. Just can't get excited about baseball yet.
Nope. All right, let's get into the association a little bit. We are in the finals, and the Suns are up 2-0 on the Bucks. Devin Booker and Chris Paul look like lights out, and DeAndre Ayton is on fire right now. Who you got?
Suns. I mean, I hate to go against my guy Blitz like that, but the Bucks are done, I think.
Yeah, they're toast.
DeAndre Ayton might be one of the best big men in all of the entire NBA. He is very, very slept on. Chris Paul could go on playing like this for another couple seasons, and Devin Booker's only going to get better.
I mean, Devin Booker is the most lights-out guard I've ever seen. One of the most lights-out guards I've ever seen in my entire life.
So I said it to you and Cousin Peen when Atlanta and Milwaukee were playing. I said that Milwaukee looks like they need to sell the farm for Trae Young. That's how they look, because they need to have somebody with Giannis, or they're never going to go anywhere.
Yep.
And Giannis, Giannis is 100%. Yeah, Giannis isn't 100%. Anyway, so it's just hard. Like they're very, very good, but the Suns are the best team in basketball. Yeah. It's just the way it is, and they're gonna win in 5 probably.
Yeah, they're gonna get a gentleman's sweep.
But it's funny. In Washington, not put things in context. What I care about, they the psychoses out here that makes the Wizards ownership think that they're close. If you watch these teams play basketball, it's like a different sport as compared to what Washington does, even with Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal. It's just the teams are just so much better. And to think that my team thinks that they're close is just insane.
Yeah.
I've never seen a guard combination. I mean, like even Steph Curry and like Klay Thompson, like Devin Booker and Chris Paul, like it's like the craziest guard combination I've ever seen in my entire life. It's just you can't stop that.
Yeah, they're smooth for sure. But
it's like silk, man. They're like silk on the court.
Yeah, it stinks that it stinks that the games aren't is it closer? But it's what we got, and the Suns are the best team in basketball, so that's just fine. That's what happened.
Good for them. They're going to get their first title. God bless. All right, on to something else that's we got going on in the association. Kevin Love is playing for the USA Olympic team. Is he going to be a boomer or bust on the Olympic team, guys?
I don't think it matters. He's a nobody. It's Kevin Love. Here's what's more important, though. Did you guys watch a game last night? Nigeria took down
They
America,
lost, yes. I wrote this before that whole happened.
Your guy, Mike Brown, put together a winning game strategy, which was chuck up a bunch of threes and then make them. Kevin Love's not going to matter. If he makes a difference on his team, the team is in big trouble. That's the whole he should not be seeing the court in these 40-minute games or however long. He doesn't need to play, and if he plays, there's a bigger problem. Unless it's in mop-up duty to keep everyone else healthy. Is he boom or bust? It doesn't matter.
Be weird.
So yeah, I actually agree with J-Dub here. It doesn't matter. He shouldn't be on the court anyway. Kevin Love being on the Team USA basketball should be all about him finding his heart again, so that he can go get bought out by Cleveland, go play for a contender, and put up 12 and 12 again, or put up a double-double and clean up the boards every night for some team that really needs him to do that, because he still has it in him. He does. He just doesn't have the heart in Cleveland in the situation that he was left with. Just doesn't have the heart anymore in Cleveland.
All right. Well, we'll see. I respect Kevin Love. Skip hates him, thinks he's a piece of shit.
That's why I had to go on my little tangent just now.
I know. I like Kevin Love. I just think he needs to play somewhere else.
Yeah.
All right. American sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson, excuse me, was suspended by the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency after testing positive for cannabis. Thoughts on the subject matter, gentlemen?
My thoughts are going to be controversial, but I think that she deserves the suspension because rules are the rules.
As a marijuana smoker, you are saying that.
I am. Rules are the rules. We're talking about the Olympics, just like any other competition. The rules are the rules. She knew the rules. She knew what she was doing. She's owned her mistake. Why can't anybody else own that she's owned her mistake?
I think it's ridiculous the fact that there's that rule.
So
that's a conversation about that to begin
I completely agree with that. First and foremost, I do completely agree that that's bullshit from the start. But that being
said, let's just get that out there. Yeah, it's disappointing. She's supposed to be really fucking fast too. They said
she's the fastest ever. Yeah,
she's super fast. Yeah, again, I think point is spot on in that a lot of things in life there's more rules than follow with what the formal official society rules are, right? Like I work in my line of work, again in Maryland here, marijuana is basically legal, but if you test positive at work, you'll still get fired because you're not allowed to have it at work. So it's just like the work she does, where you're supposed to manage and maintain what's going in your body, what you're doing. It's the same issue I have with these athletes who are like, well, I was just taking the supplement that I got from this guy. And it's like, well, your job and your livelihood is based off of maintaining your body. And if you don't know everything about everything that's going inside of it and how it relates to the rules of the stuff you're doing, then that's on you. And so I gave her credit for owning it and saying, hey, this is a mistake. I screwed up. And that's right. We need more of that in this world. And if more people are like that, then in the future, when something is not really a drug, is marijuana, it becomes a thing. It's like, you know what? Good on you. You were just trying to blow off some steam. It's fine. No one's ever seen marijuana as a performance enhancing drug. But
I think that perfectly leads us into our next topic. I think that was you just segued it up there,
almost
J-Dubs.
like I saw your
right. Oh my God, just like you're reading the script.
Thank you.
Nevada declares marijuana not a performance-enhancing drug. Legalizes cannabis use for MMA athletes.
They should stop having their legs fall off, though. I think that would help.
Right. Well. What's his name? Lost last night.
Conor McGregor. And
his leg fell off.
Yeah. That was a very anticlimactic ending to that fight, to be honest.
Yeah, well, shit happens. MMA's boring.
Well, it's a lot of dudes rolling around together, and then there's like a 1 second holy shit, and then someone's dead.
Right.
It's usually what happens.
You know what I like? I like boxing because you get to see like the punches and the jabs and like them.
What are you?
You know,
60?
the strategy and
strategy. You sound like a 60-year-old. No one likes boxing.
Well,
Boxing's terrible. It's two guys punching each other. Like what?
Shut up.
I love
cool.
boxing.
Right.
It's actually my favorite sport.
I know.
Non-team sport, yeah.
Non-team sport.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite. Well, golf's my favorite non-team sport.
Ugh.
Okay. All right.
Boring.
Let's get into my strains of the week. And I got a... Golf is amazing. You guys can shut the fuck up.
I like golfing, but why would I want to watch? Like, look at these people having fun outside doing stuff. Good for them. Like,
because if you're a real student of the game, you appreciate good shots.
I mean, they're better than me. I appreciate that, sure, but like, they only rub it in how good they are.
Okay, let's move on to another subject because you're pissing me off right now. Okay, let's talk about my strain of the week and my review from San Francisco because I smoked a lot of weed in California.
I want to hear all about the trip. Lot. Let's go.
All right. So we went out to San Francisco. We went out to wine country, everyone. We went out to Sonoma and Napa. We were out there, and then we also went back into San Francisco, but we stayed out in Sonoma primarily. So I bought from a dispensary in Santa Rosa, which is near Sonoma. I bought from Mercy Wellness. They had some great stuff. They had a hybrid, 2 hybrids I got from them, one called Shady Apple and one called Sugar Pine. They were both pretty decent. The apple is sour but smooth, and then the pine had like kind of a sweeter, lighter taste. Both pretty good buds overall, pretty nice hybrids. But I got to be honest with you, Be Weird. The quality was, and everyone hypes up Cali bud, right? Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
It really wasn't any different than what I get in Florida.
It probably wasn't even as good.
It wasn't. It was good, but it wasn't as good as the stuff I get in Florida.
I mean, ever since things have become recreational or medicinal pretty much everywhere, Cali hasn't really stood the test of time, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, I think really what the big difference, and their bud wasn't really any cheaper, to be honest. Where the price difference came in was with concentrates, because they had like a gram of rosin for like $40. You get a cart, $30, or like a full gram cart for $30. I got their concentrates are bomb though. I will tell you that. So here's what I got from them. I got a Buddy's Sour Bud Liquid Diamond cart. It was unreal. It tasted just like the liquid diamonds that you get that we used to dab. You know exactly. It has like a different taste to it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And then I also picked up these blunt wrappers that aren't actually blunt wrappers. They're called King Palms, and they're made with like a different kind of leaf that's non-carcinogenic, and doesn't burn your lungs or anything like that, and it's not harsh. And like those burn really smooth. They were like nice and clean. It's like a Cali thing, I guess, out there. But we loved it. I went to the Haight-Ashbury district. I'm wearing my Haight-Ashbury shirt right now for those of you guys who can't see me.
For the listeners at home, I can describe a shirt. It's blue. There's splotches of yellow. It's kind of like a tie-dye thing going on. It's nice, all caps font, kind of like almost italics. So there you go.
Right. So
beautiful.
We went to the Grateful Dead. We saw Janis Joplin's house. We went to the Grateful Dead's house. We saw Janis Joplin's house. We saw Jimi Hendrix's house. It was a cool area. It was an amazing trip. Love the wine. Orange Swift and Cannabis were our 2 favorite wineries out there. Shout out to them. Fantastic wine. If you ever have a chance to have any of Cannabis or Orange Swift's wine, please have it. They're phenomenal. They're also not cheap as well. But the tastings are like, 20, 30, 40, $50 depending on where you go. So, but no, we had a great time. It was awesome. Everyone should go to San Francisco and Napa and wine country if they have the opportunity to, and I highly recommend it. So that was my trip.
Sounds like fun.
It does.
All right. So let's interview J-Dub a little bit and get his concert of the week, everyone.
Oh, boy.
So we've been doing a series. We interviewed Blitzum. So we want to come back and interview another musician. So like we want to kind of keep, the same questions and everything and keep everything, like the series together. So we're going to ask, the same series of questions to J-Dub and get his perspective.
Do you have intro music for this segment? I think you should have.
No, we don't have hotkeys. You're going to have to help me. So shout out everyone. J-Dub has basically been like my teacher as producer for the technical aspect of everything. So like if we're gonna get hotkeys, I'm gonna have to have J-Dub show me how to get hotkeys and stuff like that.
I would love that. I'm all for it.
Just soundboard.
Yeah, get a soundboard and hotkeys and all that stuff. So
that will make my writing process so much more fun.
All right. How long have you been making music, and how long have you been, in the music game? Because I think it's been a long time.
In the game. I've been in the music world for like 20 years, I would say, as like an adultish thing. Like obviously kid playing guitar in my room by myself doesn't count. Right. But yeah, I'd say since 2000, I've been out making music. So that's like 21 years-ish. So that's been a range of things. Again, like that's started. I don't know if you want me to like go whole story and like free ramble, or if you want to.
Yeah, go ahead. No, say how you got into it. Yeah. No names, please, but go ahead. We have
as much time
I'll
as
give
you
lots of names first and last with social security numbers.
Right.
So, freshman year at Maryland's back in the olden days. I, as someone who liked music and was creative but couldn't really sing very well, I didn't get real like voice lessons until I was like 25, 26. I decided the best way to overcome that was to do like comedy joke music and like kind of do freestyle, make up funny songs on the fly with like random people in the audience shouting out ideas. And that was a lot of fun. And that went, I enjoyed that a lot. And fortunately, all the content is you can't get anywhere because I would not be employable based on what those songs were about and the lyrics, because it was a different world, like how things are funny in like early 2000s are not acceptable now.
Yeah.
So, and this is before like iPhones and stuff. So no one has any, like the only recordings are stuff I did like myself and like
that are on your
like my hard drive
personal
and a couple
devices.
Other hard drives. Yeah.
No, I'm gonna hack into your hard drives and blackmail you. You're screwed.
And just to bomb myself, no one's out there going on Spotify getting super happy fun cock in your mouth adventure anytime soon. So
yeah,
did that, and then second semester freshman year, my RA was like, "Hey, there's this new kid moving in. His name is Tim. You should be friends with him. He plays guitar and sings." And I immediately hated Tim because he was better looking than me and tall and sang better than me. So he was a terrible person. But we became friends, and we got it. We were like, hey, we should do music together. And then we found a drummer who was just like at a party, and then this kid Justin who owned a bass, so he became the bass player. And we made a demo tape at the radio station on campus. Ran into Tupac there. Cluck Upac, they call him. He's a real person. He's been in College Park for 100 years. And we got a show. We walked our demo CD down to the to Route 1 where all the bars were, and we got a show like for that Friday, only have like 4 songs in our portfolio.
In your repertoire.
We had to make a bunch of songs. Anyway, so a version of that band that we created, I played with up until like 2011. And we played, kind of like 90s alternative styles, Foo Fighters-ish songs.
Yeah.
For like, a decade. We played all over the East Coast, really, releasing albums, or on the radio, TV. Yeah, we were on like CBS had us ranked as the number 5 band or top 5 band in DC.
That's awesome.
A couple years.
I didn't know that.
Which is really cool. Really cool. We were on TV. They did a whole thing. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I don't know. You can't rank bands. Like, what the fuck? It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's so subjective.
The biggest thing, and here's like lessons learned. Again, these aren't in the script, but one thing that really, let's go with it. One thing that I felt was really important as like a delineation between like success and failure was that, especially like recognizing club venues and how they operate and how it's really the venues, for the most part, when they have bands come in, they don't care about the music. They care about selling tickets. And when you're a local band, what they really care about is you pre-selling the tickets. And so what that means is they give you 100 tickets, and they'll say they're worth $10 a ticket. They want you to give them $1,000 cash for you to show up, which is insane. Because who are you selling tickets to? Like, we used to stand outside in the rain and hand out flyers and like demo CDs and stuff. But like, I'm like, hey, you got this flyer. Would you give me $10 for this small piece of paper that lets you into a building? Like, fuck me. No one's going to do that. And so what you end up getting is your friends and family. So you can only do that so many times a year to go play at some shitty venue where they give you 50 cents on the dollar. And so that was like a big difference in the learning process, was getting set up in like city centers, town centers, colleges. College shows were great because the kids were already there. And so that was a huge improvement. But yeah, again, it was hard. It was a grind. And then as we got like older and actually we recorded our last album and our drummer walked out of the studio and like quit the band. So that was kind of exciting. But then he came back, which is fine. Because our other drummer was then banging our roommate. So that didn't really work out. So then we brought the other drummer back. We're like, hey, we're gonna play these like last 8 shows out. This is like 2011. And it was great fun. It was like putting on that nice soft old shirt that fit really nicely.
This is an honest to God rock and roll story. I like it.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's a real
so,
yeah.
I mean, there are plenty of things like
you know what? Fuck the script. We're just gonna keep talking about this. I'm throwing it aside.
So yeah, then again, like 2011ish, we had a good farewell show for everyone, and then we did have plans on having a 10-year reunion show this past year. But I feel like in deference to bands that are actually working for a living, we don't want to eat up one of their slots with our shitty reunion show.
You mean because post-pandemic and everything?
Yeah, like they all need to get their shows back. Like no one needs my band back.
So what is your take on currently what's going on with like the local music scene with like the pandemic and everything?
I think it's so I think even before the pandemic, I think live performance was kind of happening, like having problems anyway. And I think what's done nicely with the pandemic is people have reinvigorated their desire to see things in person and go places. With the tendency and trend really was, at least what I was seeing, was more in like Instagram musicians, YouTube, and like even Facebook Live. Like I was doing the Facebook Live thing with my family a year before the pandemic. I was doing YouTube. We were doing our own YouTube thing of like, hey, check us out for 4 minutes and fuck off. And you can watch or not, it's fine. And I think people were doing that, but I think now it's like that's the norm. But then also now people are spinning that into wanting to do live. So I think in the end the pandemic, I say helped, but it kind of helped because it created this desire, but it also really honed people's skills on delivering content online in a way that people weren't doing as much before.
I think everything has become very online based in terms of getting your content out there, especially even with like podcasts and stuff like that, what we're doing. Like I wouldn't have done this before the pandemic hit. I would never have made a podcast. Like who would have thought to do that?
I mean, two average white guys talking about stuff. Who would want to listen to that?
Who wants to hear me and my schmuck friends talking about weed and the Browns?
Hey,
and the Bears?
We're just an average white band around here.
Right. So that's the kind of struggle. So yeah, one thing. So the state of music again. I think people are creative again. As someone who played 3 average white guys playing rock music, it's no one cares about it. And the fact is, and given society again with housing price, at least in the DC area, one of the struggles with rock in our area is houses are so expensive that you can't afford to live in a place that can fit a drum set in it. You're not going to play a full rock band in an apartment because you have to have a drum kit. And so drums are a critical part. I remember when I was in Seattle and the Seattle music scene, and it's like it was all predicated on housing prices being low because you can afford to live in a house where you can rock out.
There's no housing prices in Seattle aren't low anymore. I can tell you that much.
I'm talking about in the early 90s when like
but no, I'm saying that they don't that whole scene is gone.
Hard. It's very difficult. So again, that's so current. I think currently the artists are doing a very good job leveraging it. But again, the people who are successful were posting Instagram videos, YouTube Live, Facebook Live for the last 2, 3, 4 years anyway. So it's just more of that, and it's good. I mean, I like a lot of new stuff that I hear anyway, so that's fine.
So I think that's a really good segue to my next question. So what do you want to do? What are your plans with music long term?
So I'm doing it. I think one of the things, again, every person who stops playing live should do is give me a thumbs up. Is recording on your own. You record. Other people help produce them. So I care about content creation. I care about teaching people. So one thing I do is I help recording. I made a recording clinic at my old summer camp. So they set up a recording studio, and then up until last year, and I guess this year too.
I mean, you taught me how to do record. I didn't know how to do audio recording or any of this crap before.
Know, right? I did a series of songwriting clinics where I came in, meet some kids, help them write a song from scratch. We practice it, perform it, record it. I have a number of artists locally who come by, and we hang out, and they make a song, and I help make it good. I also do a lot of turd polishing, so people send me their shitty recordings, and then I turn it into something good. Again, that was that skill set though, like that helped me do cool stuff during the pandemic.
So you don't have any plans to be like the Partridge Family, to go on like a bus with the kids, and like you guys are all playing music as a family, and like
I mean, so that's not a thing that happens. But no, like with the kids again, like you're doing a a tease on the Saturday morning Fam Jam. You can click subscribe.
Yeah, shout out there. I love it. It's so
Saturday
adorable.
morning Fam Jam. Google it, everyone. Saturday morning Fam Jam.
It's at youtube.com/Saturday morning Fam Jam. They no, the kids have fun with that, but it's also like a grind too, right? And so like it is fun, and hopefully in the next this next season that's coming up, the kids will be even more involved in playing parts and doing things. Again,
have they started learning any instruments, your kids, or anything
yet? Not formally.
I
mean, the biggest struggle, again, like being 6 and 4, the interest is in keeping, having them respect the instruments as instruments instead of toys that they like smash and destroy. Because kids destroy everything. That's like their prime directive is. Kids' prime directive is to destroy everything and also attempt to kill themselves at all times.
Right.
And so, I'd rather have them like I at least in more than 2 videos. Shira has knocked herself off like the drum set and like taken down a snare and like fallen on the floor and stuff. So it'd be great again, but that's YouTube. And like, so the goal in theory you can't, so because we're doing covers of like 90s and 2000s alternative songs as a family, they're not monetizable, but also not getting enough views because no one gives a shit about what I do. But the reality is that at some point we can get enough views and people paying attention to us where all of a sudden I get different guitars. I wear a sponsored shirt that pays me money to do a thing. That's the dream on YouTube, is getting the sponsored content. And so that's where that would be.
Well, shout out if anyone wants to sponsor the Bongs, Browns, and Bears on my podcast.
Yeah, you could totally do that.
Please tweet at us at B_weird1.
Yeah, but we had a very successful full album release earlier in the year with my guy Ben Pagliaro. It was really good, chill album. We actually released vinyls, which is the first time I ever did a vinyl.
That's awesome.
And that's really cool. And then I got this guy Brian Toybal who's coming out. He's from Cleveland. He's got a acoustic album coming out next month. That'll be really good. And then we're working on Ben Pagliaro's follow-up album that's coming out later this year, early next year. So keep him busy on that. And then again, the occasional turd polish where someone sends me a thing.
Shout out to a local Cleveland musician.
But yeah, so that's again, long term. Again, I have my home studio. You can see it from your video there. And again, I like to make noise and play songs and record things. And that's something that you do for forever, right? Like, assuming that people would want to have me make their stuff sound good, I'm happy to help make them sound good. And that's fun for me. I like helping people. I like to help people. And then obviously making my shitty podcast no one listens to. So that's that.
Right. I'm totally with you on making the shitty podcast that no one listens to.
Hey, you're welcome on our shitty podcast whenever you want.
Thanks for having me.
Whenever
you want.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like I just learned so much about your musical history, honestly.
Yeah, it was a great. I loved hearing about that and the interview awesome. And everything.
And your studio, I've been waiting to compliment you on it, but yeah, I love it.
Yeah, you do have a nice studio.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Again, it's something that, again, having recorded in to humble brag, but I'll humble brag. Like, I've recorded places where like real people record, and like I try to pay attention to what the producers are doing, and like even like. Again, throughout history, like, I always like, hey, what are you doing? I'm sure it was annoying to the people doing it. I was like, hey, like, why are you doing that? Like, what is happening? Why do we do the things that we're doing? And I always try to absorb all that information versus napping. Because a lot of recording studio life is like sleeping on the couch. Like, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
A lot of it is like, oh, we're doing drums for the next 24 hours. Cool. I'm going to go to sleep. And so it took a lot of energy to just stay awake and like just watch and listen and like pay attention to the minor change, because a lot of recording and like is subtle details that all combined make everything sound better. So like the stuff I nitpick on your editing that I do is like purely stuff I hear, but if you do like a little bit of incremental changes to each little piece, the whole will sound better. Again, it's the music recording and any production of art is really the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, and you're taking each little part and iteratively making it a little sexier to then make that whole thing.
I do feel like the only type of artistic expression though I do have in my life is this show, though. I mean, honestly, I do feel that way. Not to get philosophical with our viewers.
And I feel special that I was able to help participate in you achieving your dreams of talking into a microphone and saying things, which is good. Again, that's part of why I started my podcast was my friend who had no creative outlet, and I believe firmly, strongly in producing things. I think it's important as humans and creatures to not just consume everything. And I think the ability to just talk and say whatever's on your mind really is important factor of being like a fully functional person. And so I'm glad to be able to help you do that.
Yeah, it's good to hear your voice, know that your voice is out there and people can hear you, and you're not yelling into your own pillow, so to speak.
Well, I mean, a lot of podcasting is just shouting into the wind, but it's our right to do that. So shout away.
All right, so you have a concert of the week because you're our guest musician. Sure. So why don't you give us your concert of the week there?
Sure. So most recently in Rockville, so a golf course near my house was decommissioned as a golf course and now is being transitioned to being a music venue. And one of the first bands that headlined their summer music series was the Kelly Bell Band. And they're out of Baltimore, Maryland. And I opened for them in the year 2001. And they're still going strong. They played for a decade before that. So they've been around for like 30 years. Great band, kind of fat blues. So it's like blues rock, but like with...
Love that.
Awesome.
So super fun. I sent you a link to a show that was recorded nicely. One of the struggles especially when their time frame of coming up is there isn't a lot of good online content of their stuff because like people just didn't have this stuff. But this is a nice recorded show from 2015 that I think is pretty representative of what they sound like. But check them out if you're around like the East Coast. I think they play all over, but Kelly Bell Band, they're great.
I'm gonna watch that show this afternoon.
Very good.
That's awesome.
Anything awesome. Blues and rock, you got me sucked in right away.
Yeah, I know, dude. You're speaking my language. All right, so let's talk a little low-key. J-Dub, you're behind, so why don't you go ahead and take off your headset for a quick second.
I could spoiler myself and just take a nap during the next episode. We'll see. I'll just hang out and like chime in. We'll see what happens.
Okay. All right. So basically what's going on with Loki is like for the last couple of episodes, things have been going crazy. Timekeepers aren't real. They're just robots. She kills one of them and the head falls off and like they collapse. I think Kang is the villain.
Kang is absolutely the main villain.
The villain.
No question about it.
Yeah. So then she like prunes Loki, gets sent to the void, and then like he meets the other Lokis that were pruned and sent to the void, and they have like a whole crazy fight scene and shit goes nuts, and he finds her because she prunes herself. She's crazy.
I love it. I love her.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
She's my kind of chick.
Yeah, she is. She really is your kind of chick. So then the crazy thing happens is so like she wants to enchant the beast or whatever it is, Eliath or whatever the fuck he's called.
Yeah.
So then classic Loki shows up to help them to like fulfill his noble purpose, and he starts laughing at the end and like makes this whole illusionary Asgard and like basically saves them and helps them enchant. Yeah, and then basically helps them enchant Eliath, and then they open up this portal, and that's how the episode ends.
Yeah.
J-Dub, wave him over. You can come back. We're done. That was it.
Very excited for the finale.
Yeah, the finale is going to be crazy. J-Dub is behind, so he's back now.
I'm only one episode behind, but
you're only one episode
behind.
Miss
anything. I don't know who.
Your wife. You need to get your wife in gear. Do you guys have plans tonight?
I mean, we have kids. We never have plans. But the thing was but like, one of the...
Well, I'm married and I have a dog and we never have plans. So I know that too.
So different.
The thing about kids though, is that like...
We just don't have plans.
Well, you don't have plans just by sheer like laziness. Ours are by design. But it's just hard again. Like, it gets to be the thing about the Loki type show for her, like, she will just fall asleep halfway through if it starts too late. And if the kids are like having trouble going to sleep, it's like, well, it's 9:30. We can't start watching Loki because I'll have to rewatch it again. So
that's how my ex
show,
was.
Though. I really enjoy it.
Drove me crazy.
Yeah, watch the
I fall asleep. Here's my problem. I'm the one that falls asleep.
Yes, you
are. And it's only if it's downstairs in like where my wife watches TV, like where we have this like super comfortable couch. You haven't been to my new house, Jada, but we have this super comfortable couch, and it has like reclining seats for like the movie theater. Ask B-word, they're like crazy comfortable. Oh. And I always fall asleep in them whenever we watch a movie or TV. It's guaranteed I will fall asleep.
He was 2 for 2 while I was down there. So
yeah, if the show is 30 minutes, I can do it. Or like an hour, like maybe an hour, but like that's where I'm max. Yeah, right. All right, so let's wrap her on up. I think we're pretty good here, guys. Right? Everyone good?
I think you did one. I think you did it.
Did what?
A podcast episode. I think you did it.
I think we finished it. Yeah. A fully formed walking, talking podcast.
I think it's a good one.
I think we figured it out.
I think you did.
I do. It is a good one.
J-Dub, thank you for coming on. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, J-Dub.
And can't wait to have you on again.
I'd love to. It's nice talking to you guys as always, and it's good to see you again. And not fighting with like bouncers at a strip club and whatnot. So it's pretty. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Anytime you want me to ramble about something, I can do like a micro story of like the time that our drummer got in 3 car accidents on the way to New York City. That's a good one.
That sounds like a good one.
That sounds almost as fun as B-Word's trip with McLovin to the grocery store when he was on ecstasy.
That's a story for another day.
You already told it before.
Yeah, well, I can tell it again. It's a good one.
Very good. Well, thanks again, guys. I appreciate the time and the platform to say things.
All right. Awesome. Thank you again for having us. All right, B-Word, why don't you go ahead and give the people where to find us?
Do
your thing.
That made no sense whatsoever.
He said it backwards, but it's okay. It's fine. It's okay.
It was your first stoner moment of the first episode back, Jay.
All right. Well, I just yoded it up, man. What's wrong with that?
No, that was good. It's cool. I liked it. All right. So get at us on our Discord server. Subscribe on YouTube, Podbean, Apple, Spotify, or TuneIn. On Twitter, I am at B_weird1. That is spelled out ONE. He is at Atrocitus Rex. That is ATROCITUSREX. National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 1-800-273-8255. National Addiction Helpline, 1-800-662-4357. J-Dub, anything you want to promote real quick before we go off?
No, I'm good. Thanks, you guys do your thing. Don't have to worry about promoting anything of mine. I'll send you some links you can put for Saturday Morning Fam Jam, youtube.com/Saturday Morning Fam Jam. You can also check me out on the Adam Gravitz Sports Show, which is the Adam Gravitz Sports Show.podbean.com. You can check that out, or at Noco Rock on Twitter.
Awesome.
Perfect.
All right, folks.
Everybody have a great week. Thank you for listening. We are back. Peace.
Later.